Next up at UFC Vegas 72, we have Cody Durden taking on Charles Johnson. Again, I feel like Charles Johnson has fought 11 times in the last year. This dude came into the UFC. He came into the UFC and is just every week fighting. And good for him, right? Good for him. He's getting decent matchups. The UFC's trying to do him some favors here. He's got Cody Durden, 14-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 2-fight win streak. He's taking on Charles Johnson, 13-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. Coming off that super close loss to Ode Osborne. Cody's a big, heavy-handed wrestler. He's going to come in, he's going to bomb away, and shoot takedowns. He averages more than 4 takedowns per fight. He likes to come forward, throw those looping power shots, and then try to get it to the ground. He does chain wrestle, and he's going to keep working on those legs. Charles Johnson, he's a busy, technical striker. And I say busy, it's not even necessarily his hands. He's just always moving. Yeah, he's just always moving. His feet are never in the same place. He's constantly in and out, side to side. He's always moving his body. But if you're actually counting the strikes, it looks like he's doing a lot more than he actually is. But he's hard to hit. He's always moving, and he does have some really nice hand speed. He's got a good output, right? It is 5 significant strikes landed per minute, so it's not nothing. But it's just not what it looks like when you're watching those fights. He did land a very impressive 141 strikes in that close win over Zhalgas Zhumagulov. And then outside of that win over Jimmy Flick, who he knocked out, where Jimmy Flick was just, I don't even know what that dude was doing. Charles doesn't really have that big power. He's just sort of a touch and go kind of guy. I still think Charles is going to win this fight. It's a super sketchy spot, minus 154. I mean, those are decent odds if you're all over Charles Johnson. But I do think the idea of him just dancing around, defending a million takedowns, landing strike after strike, and cruising to a decision, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he'll defend some takedowns. I think he'll have some success. And I think this is going to look a lot like the Zhalgas Zhumagulov fight, where he did defend some takedowns, but a lot of people think he lost that fight. So I think this is going to look similar to that. Cody Durden, if he just sticks to the wrestling nonstop, he could have some success. Charles has been matched up against several wrestlers, did okay. And Charles is going to be the pick, but no bet for me. This feels sketchy.
Yeah, let me just say, first of all, Cody, stay with me here for a second, because last time we broke him down, I don't know if it was the last time or the time before that, he did not like what I was saying about him, and he said, I'm going to prove you wrong, and that's exactly what he did. So stick with me here, Twitter? Cody. Yeah, so stick with me here, Cody. I think Charles Johnson is a better overall fighter. I think he can withstand the wrestling. He's a decent grappler, and his striking is going to be better than Cody Durden. The issue is with Charles Johnson, sometimes he just does not do enough, and he can get pushed around, just like that Makaev fight. Makaev didn't have great success with getting takedowns and controlling him on the ground, but he did enough because he was just kept on him and just kept on him and just kept on him, and it was just working him and just outworking him, and Charles never really had that space to do anything. And even when Charles does have that space, sometimes, as you mentioned, it's a lot of just feints. He just does not do enough. Cody Durden is a guy that will just be relentless. He will be nonstop in his wrestling, in his pace, in his pressure. And without the dangers of Charles Johnson, unless he is able to find one of these little snipe shots on an entry or a knee or something weird like that, I believe that Cody Durden could just come in and just flat out work this guy. I think he can just shoot enough takedowns, just chain wrestle, just like a Colby fight, just like Colby versus Jorge. I think this is what it's going to look like. A lot of takedown defense from Charles, separation, and then boom, right back in on his legs, and just nonstop. And the judges are going to give it to Cody in that type of fight. I just think he's going to bring the pace. I think he's going to be the pressure, and this is the perfect guy to outwork. He can easily outwork a guy like Charles Johnson. I think that's exactly what he does. So I'm on the he proved me wrong last time, so I'm not picking against him again, Cody. I got you, buddy. He's my pick on this one for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight tooth and nail here. I do think Charles Johnson wins this fight. I think he will defend some of those takedowns, dance around, and then frustrate Cody over time. But Cody's relentless. He's going to come forward, and he's going to work. He's going to shoot takedowns. He's going to throw those big punches, and he's going to work. And that's the kind of guy that you can trust. I think Charles will be able to get it done, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see. He got that gift. I don't want to say gift, but that was a super close decision with Zhalgas. Obviously, he lost his first fight, but he was set up to fail there. That is what it is. It was short notice UFC debut. No big deal. He smoked Jimmy Flick, but like Jimmy Flick, that's the only fight we've seen him like be the guy, because he has been a big favorite in every single fight except his first one. And the Jimmy Flick one was the only one we actually saw him be what the odds say he should have been.
Yeah, and I think the worst part about Charles Johnson is his lack of urgency. Even in a close fight, he still would just and that's why he lost the Ode fight. He needed to do more in that round, and he just did not do enough. And against a guy like Cody, he could think, oh, I defended all these takedowns, I'm up in the fight, I don't need to push the pace, and really screw this decision.
Yep. No, I hear you. Quick turnaround for Charles Johnson as well. 7,500 to 8,700. I got to look a little closer at Charles Johnson's wins and see what those score, because I did mention he landed at 141 strikes on Zalgas, so that may have actually scored really well in DraftKings. But I imagine Cody's scoring really well in his wins because he's getting the takedowns, the control time, finishes, sort of bombing away. So if you are on the Cody side, then $7,500 is great value. I got to look a little closer to see if Charles Johnson is worth that $8,700. And then Farong in the live chat saying, you pick one side, I pick the other. Then he said, like it's a conspiracy theory. Here's the thing. If you need a tiebreaker, I mean, Jacob and I are two completely separate people with different opinions and different picks. If you'd like a tiebreaker, in premium, go to Artem's page. Artem gives you his picks, his round line leans, his confidence levels, everything for all the UFC fights.
Pictures of crocodiles.
And he's picking and betting other fights as well. So if you need a tiebreaker, weonpicks.com at the top, click become a member, hop into Artem's page for that split. Guys, can you just kick fucking Matt R out of here? This dude's entire personality is talking about me. And I don't have time
he's
for
saying
that
very nice things about me. So if you
give
guys
a
could
fuck.
leave
It's not your
Matt
channel.
R in here,
It's
if you
not
guys
your
could
channel.
leave Matt R in here, we're big fans of Matt R.
Kick him the fuck out.